Okay. Let's see. Hope everybody's having a good morning and a good start to the new year. Make sure my volume's up because I've not done a solo show in a while. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. We didn't have anybody planned for today. Next week, I'm going to be talking to a lot of people. Rudy Reyes from Generation Kill. I've got to get up with General Bo-Ray, Gary O'Neill from Charlie Company Rangers, who was also in Blue Light. I'm talking to him again and setting up our interview for January. We're going to be having Clay Martin back on. Kurt Jones, where you talk on next Wednesday, the 7th, and we'll be having him on. He's a Project Sigma vet. And I've got a lot of surprises. I'm not going to spoil any, but I think I've actually gotten in contact with the legendary Woodham brothers who flew chase medic duties at CCN. So I'll be anxious to get with him as well. I've got some helicopter pilots that are going to be coming on. And Ray Martinez, who wrote with Gary Linder all the Good Lurk books, he's contacted me and he's going to be getting in touch with me. So we've got some good stuff already cooking for the new year. But anyways, we'll get started here. It won't be long. But I've been seeing a lot of posts on this subject, people asking questions, and I'm going to point it out because and people have brought it to my attention because they were like, surely this isn't true. And no, it's not true. It's all AI created. But I'm going to show y'all the page in case y'all are curious about what this guy's putting out and everything. It's quite crazy. I literally think the guy's just putting in a prompt in Chat GPT about SOG and SAS, and he's feeding in a little bit of info like, make the SAS look better or what have you. Here, let me pull up this where I can show you, because even the titles make me mad. And I started showing them to the guys and they were like, they were great and all that, but I got to get a new mouse this year. Unfortunately, I might have to mute the video, but
how long it takes a beginner like my dad to go from ear.
There we go. This page right here, you can see me right here already getting into it, and let's see what the guy actually responded back. Yeah, okay, educational and entertainment. No, you should actually put entertainment, because he says this is not an official historical account. Jumping in and spamming like this is completely unreasonable. No, you're passing it off as actual real shit, showing Ed Wolkoff. Look at this. And I know a man named Briggs who is on Florida at this point in time.
Towards the ready team, RT Florida Hooch carrying only a minimal path trail. He
didn't arrive with a fanfare of brag. FOB2 wanted a singular SAS tracker, a tracker.
Afternoon, and he walked towards the ready
to go to RT Florida, who at this point in time was being run by one of the greatest 1-0s that not only SOG ever had, but Contoom ever fielded, by the man by the name of Ralph Rod. And then right after that, another man by the name of Norm Doney. So that's how you know not only him finally copping to it, but that's utter bullshit. And let me just go through some of these other stories that is just when the NBA had Navy SEALs cornered, but the Australian SAS came to their rescue. When MACV-SOG watched the Australian work and realized they had been doing recon all wrong. Get the fuck out of here, man. RT Florida Command. I mean, this is such garbage. I just wanted to show y'all what was going on here, and I don't even know if I had that pay. Damn, was I just talking to no one here? There we go. I mean, and he's getting hundreds of thousands of views on made up bullshit to where fans of Australian SAS and all of that actually think this is real. But luckily, there's some other Aussies saying the actual vets who served and are like, this is bullcrap. We learned a lot from the Americans and begged and pleaded to get everything we could from the Americans because all their boots were garbage. I mean, this guy did no historical research whatsoever, and it's abundantly clear he's using ChatGPT. But anyway, I wanted to clear that up and get that off my chest because that page is a sword of Damocles on history and keeping history correct. But, you know, I don't want the title or me talking like this to downgrade what people think of not only the Australians, the Kiwis, and Australians, Kiwis, and the SAS, but also the Australian Regular Army. And then early on in 62 or 63, I think the Brits sent over an SAS team to help out, observe, and help start training even before Recondo School was invented. So, which that'll come up here in a minute. I'm going to be a bit scatterbrained because I wanted to get this show going, and it'll all lay into effect here in just a moment here. But to kind of show y'all a little bit of where to give the SAS their due diligence and bona fides, you know, here, let me pull this up and let y'all read along with me. Because the SAS, I mean, the Brits in Malaya, I mean, we learned a lot from what the Brits did in Malaya. Britain's secret role in the Brutus. Okay. And, you know, a lot, but that was in the 50s, mid to late 50s. And then, maybe 60. The Malaya emergency was easy in the 50s. So, you know, the UK sent SAS teams as early as 62, flying secret RAF missions to deliver arms and provide intelligence to the very few advisors already on the ground. They didn't want to give money to the South Vietnam regime, so they supported us and all of that. Now, see, the Brits came over like this. This is from what I've talked to some guys and recently found out about. This was the only full-scale British men in the war actively, shall we say, very early on. No Brits were running. Hey, Dan, what's up, brother? Glad you could join. We're probably going to have a small group today, but it'll be fun for us, just that like the in-depth bullshit. So the Brits were there early on. The Brits were passing on what they could do to help us out because they already knew from being in Indochina and Malaya and all of that, the shite that was going to be coming up for the Americans. So I figured I'd use shite instead of shit to keep it with our British parlance here. So they do that. They're funding. They're not only funding, sending arms and training, but they're not working with the South Vietnamese government at all. So it's strictly an American-British early on relationship that does not extend past any of that, past those two. And then you a lot of people that aren't too familiar with the war at all, but especially with the other groups of nations fighting with us. I'm going to bring this up. And of course, the AATV, which was the Australian Army Training Team Vietnam, I believe. They were over there, I believe, in 64, 65. They were there, maybe 62. Here we are. Let's see. August of 62, they joined in quickly. They might have been one of the first ones to stay, and the longest to stay with us. They stayed till 73, which is amazing. But see, they were only in a, that's, we're going to get into this. They were only in I Corps, or not I Corps, Jesus Christ, 3 Corps. And I'll bring that up. That 3 Corps is the beachy, resorty area. It's not quite the Delta, but they've got Delta-like areas. Hence why the SAS was in 3 Corps doing Sneaky Pete missions in the water and all of that, because they were in 3 Corps. That was their only area of operation. They weren't going up to I Corps, 2 Corps. They were a little bit in 4 Corps, and I'll tell you the only groups that went against that whole thing, and that would be groups that were with, and again, like I said, guys, I'm going to be going back and forth here, but the groups that really didn't adhere to the 3 Corps AO for the Australians would be your Aussie, either AATV men or your Kiwi/Aussie SAS men. And I've got a photo, and I wish I could find it. I might can, of Bill Deasy and a Australian warrant officer, SAS member, who was with him in B-36, the MGF, the Mobile Guerrilla Force. So the Aussies were allowed, and Kiwis were allowed to run in the Mike forces, the Mobile Guerrilla Forces, and there's one more thing I'm blanking on. They weren't at A camps, but there was a lot of close interactions with A camps in certain areas of 3 Corps and 4 Corps, as you can imagine. Excuse me. You know, they had that famous movie, Danger Close. If you've not seen Danger Close, watch that. People get very mixed up about that battle and the name, because they hear us talking about SOG saying Long Tan, and then there was a place called Long Tan, and the battle that the Australians fought fearlessly in a plantation. Here we are right here in a rubber plantation. 100 soldiers held off over 2,000 against 2,000 NVA. I mean, that is a unbelievable video movie right there. But Long Tan is in 3 Corps, and that's a totally different area than Long Tan, which is the super secret SOG base where they do all kinds of training and this and that, the CIA's on base and all of that. And I'll end up coming back to that because I have pictures of SAS on base, and we'll get to that, because people were saying, and they're partly right, that the SAS really had no contact with SOG whatsoever. None. I mean, in very few instances, other than when guys were in Saigon at SOG HQ, bumping into guys and seeing, and then of course knowing who's who and all that, and everybody saying hello. They always liked the SAS guys, but no SAS guys in SOG. None of any FOBs, none of any CNCs, nothing. And as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and mention this since we're already talking about Long Tan. Right here, it's a great movie. It is correct. And as a matter of fact, now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna have to rewatch it. But I'm gonna bring up a few photos here, and they're SOG. Damn, that was nasty. I'm sorry about that. That was cottonmouth of epic proportion. And these are from 2 SOG vets that actually had personal interactions with SAS members, very close interactions with. One is dealing with a guy that met a Khartoum vet who met met SAS vets at 1-0 school, traded his green beret for their sand-colored beret, and I have a photo of that. That is Al Grace, who was on the mission with Plaster. What am I blank? Ashtray. I got a better picture of it where you can see it, but Paul Kennicott of RT Minnesota, Charlie Scepter, he was a Covey rider. Michael Grace right there in the SAS beret, and then John Plaster, of course, right there. And then right here, you'll be able to see it a little bit clear. And I finally figured it out. This is a photo of Fred Krupa. Y'all might not have ever seen before either. There's Paul Kennicott, who we saw in the last photo. That's Fred, Captain Krupa, before he was KIA. And if you look damn close, you can see Al with his SAS maroon beret on right there. So he had he struck up a close friendship with one of the boys, and they said, you know, well, let's and as far as I know, not many guys did this. He might be the only one, and ended up trading his beret with this guy, kept it, and would wear it at any opportune time he could, and stand out. That was, of course, when SOG was filled with the real mischievous guys, Plaster and all his group, and the Scroungers, and Terry Sorsby, and Greg Glasshauser, and Mr. Terry Cadenback, and the whole damn slew of people. Yeah, definitely Sand. Yeah. And is Sand Kiwi, New Zealand, or is that Aussie? Maybe they have the same color. But anyway, we were talking about 1-0 school, and this will clear up why whenever y'all hear about people talking about, oh, the SAS ran operations, or we're training SOG, or we're in training with SOG, or this or that, and you'll immediately know, no, that's not how this shit works. Excuse my language again. Okay, these photos are from a very awesome veteran I know. Well, hang on one second, guys. I apologize here. Let me pull it up. This is from a great veteran I know, a absolute stud. And as a matter of fact, I got another picture of Mr. Grace I can pull up. This is Mr. Al in the team room right here. Good-looking guy in his cut-off polo shorts and polo shirt. Got his beautiful ladies to keep him company up top. And the guys I'm going to show right here, he actually attended 1-0 school, or I should say he attended 1-0 school, and some lucky choice operators from the Kiwi SAS group were able to attend a portion of 1-0 school. Not all, a portion. Because, and that's the other thing when people talk about the spies, about why they allow Vietnamese in there. People don't understand MACV-SOG was a joint operation between the Americans and the Vietnamese. That's why they couldn't kick out all of them and fix the leak immediately. So he's able to meet up with this gentleman. I've got a photo I'm about to bring up with you, but they were only allowed through, some of the weapons aspect, none of the radio aspects. Of course, the repelling and the immediate action drill, stuff like that. No commo, no telecommunication, stuff like that. And there was another strict portion. I couldn't remember what it covered, but they were not allowed to go through it. And the gentleman who gave me a copy of this photo, he was a CCS veteran first in the Hatchet Forces. He actually came in right as Jerry Shriver had been killed. And the surviving members of Jerry's company were his Montagnards. So he actually took over for Jerry and ran what was left of his company with the yards that were with Jerry who weren't on that operation. And he learned a lot about Jerry, a lot. I will give y'all, I'll bring up the roster here in a minute, but what we're going to see here is, you know what? Let's go ahead. I can point out the men I know from CCS. Most of the guys you're going to be seeing, I'll point this out. This patch, that means they're SOG, but even the tiger stripes are SOG. That's a SOG guy. That's a SOG guy. That's Joe Bertoni. That's Mr. Carl Franquette. I'm blank. Mike Moore. I think these gentlemen over here and right here, this old chap, and maybe this lad right here are SAS. But this is long time. When you see the team photos and everything, you'll notice the shutters in the white building, the wooden shutters. That's how you always know a long time photo is them standing in front of those buildings back there, which were their temporary duty assignment huts. All right, let's see here if I can pull up. Yeah, okay, good. He did. Let me pull this up and we can get the listing of who he remembered and we can remember. All right. Carl says, my 1-0 graduation photo, the two on the far right and the Tigers are Aussie and a Kiwi. They attended the course with us. I have no idea if they were in SOG or why they attended. They were not in SOG, as we've come to find out. Great guys, though. They weren't allowed to sit in on the secret non-foreclosure class, the commo and crypto classes. So there you go. I've reestablished contact with the Kiwi later on, Bill Lillycrap. I need to see if I can find that guy now. I was the command sergeant major of 1-1. Yeah, Carl went on to Dead A after SOG also. Super stud. Visited one of my teams in Papua New Guinea. There was a QA SAS NCO advisor to the PNG infantry regiment we were training. He knew Bill and got us re-hooked up. That's badass. Mr. Roy Eckroat, most of these are CCS guys that he went. They were getting to where they were sending like whole classes of CCC guys. Roy Eckroat, Ernie Massey, Richard Thomas. Sadly, that was one of Carl's good buddy. Al Waggle, who also went to Khartoum. I've got his photo album. Mike Crimmings got his photo album. Some really cool photos. Mike Kinsley. We've forgotten to put a few names on here, but the last three were Aussie SOS guys. So that's one thing I wanted to clear up for people because, when people are like, oh, you just because they didn't attend 1-0 school or they're not around SOG all the time doesn't mean – no, it doesn't mean they're not good. I'm just getting historically correct that they were not SOG in any shape, form, or fashion and did not work on a regular basis with SOG. That's just not how SOG worked. And most of you now that have watched a lot of the interviews and all of that see why it didn't operate that. It's hard enough having Americans and the Vietnamese keep secrets. And you see the Vietnamese broke. Imagine bringing in a whole new country into that and doing that. And quite frankly, this is going to sound rude, but we didn't need the SAS guys doing that. We had all the Green Berets we could get. They could get. I'm not we. They could get. They could get all the Force Recon Marines they needed, all the SEALs they needed. I mean, they didn't. Excuse me. They didn't need SAS, and I'm not shitting on the SAS because they are damn good troops, always have been since WW2, and they will not stop being good damn troops. I mean, the godfather of special mission units, for Christ's sake. We thought our country thought so highly of them. We modeled a lot, not all of it. People get overzealous on that, saying we copied everything. But Beckwith, Meadows, and Al, what's his name, the Sante Raider, those three went over for training, cross training where they were able to go through the selection and pass and greatly modeled Delta on that. So that's for sure. Recondo School. Let's get another thing out of here. Now, this is where the Aussies really played a big role. Okay. Now, this is the one that people have it right to where they should be very proud of the Aussie contribution of this. And I recently have just gotten all of the Green Beret magazines. Excellent, Daniel. Thank you, man. And I've recently gotten all the Green Beret magazines from 66 to 70. And I've gotten some of the literally the first graduate, and his grandson is in the group page. Herman, damn, why am I blanking on his name? But he was the first graduate of the MACV Recondo in Vietnam. They had Recondo in Kentucky before the Vietnam War, but it was not at all. They were climbing mountains and doing this and that, and doing sneaky Pete and stuff for the time, but not like they'd be doing in Vietnam. So with all the projects starting up in 67, 66, 67, they're realizing they're going to need a lot of information, and they need to get their shite together quickly. So they get everybody, and I smell burnt eyelash. I just burnt my eyelash off. They get Beckwith. They get every person they can get from Project Delta, and pretty much that first instructor class, dude, probably probably 70% of them were all Delta. But literally the first couple groups were all Recondo, Delta Recondo instructors. And as a matter of fact, Bo Baker, who was a captain who helped break the siege at Play Me in October of 65, he was actually the first CEO for the Recondo School, which is pretty damn interesting. And there for a while, they were running things. We've got an interview with Mr. Jim Grimshaw, who was in We Were Soldiers and Remember the Titans. He was the XO of Recondo School for about a year and a half or so, and he's got some great stories on that interview. But I'm trying to find exactly when the Aussies come into it. But while I'm flipping around, this is, like I said, okay, here we go. Liaison personnel, authorize a cadre of 6 officers. This is very early on, so mind you, it blew up on this. But liaison personnel originally consisted of 1 Australian warrant officer who assisted the ATTV team, Australian training team in Vietnam, and the SAS and the Recondo training, occasionally led American teams on patrol, and 3 South Korean special forces, 1 officer, 2 NCOs. And they also later on would also get Royal Thai instructors as well. So right there, you already see right out of the gate, the Aussies are brought in to start teaching. Not only Recondo being in Nha Trang, that is 3 Corps also. So Nha Trang in the Recondo school area right there, that's the Aussie AO. So to back up just a smidge, and I've got photos of that, and I'll need to try and find them and bring it up. But y'all, it's literally just photos of guys in choppers. But these are Australian pilots flying the SOG 10 school inserts for their live fire and excerts for their live fire. So that's very cool, where the Aussies are helping out on that aspect. And then Recondo school, you see they've already been brought as instructors, but they also had pilots that were also flying and helping out for extracting, inserting Recondo final phase students into the bush. So the Aussies were all around, were there from the get-go, as y'all saw from 62. Yeah, Irvin K. Herman was the first from the 4th Cab, 25th Infantry. He was the honor graduate in 1966. So yeah, that's very cool. I got to start going through that book in there and going through some more names. But I could have swore there for a while they Delta ended up getting spun up because shit was kicking off very hardcore, and they were being needed for in-country recon because, mind you, SOG is not up. Omega's just starting. They're still doing in-country. Not even... They might have done the first cross-border by October, I think, of 66. That's where Larry Thorne went MIA. But this is so early on. So, I mean, that's why people say Delta are the godfathers of Marine Recon. You know, and the middle years, 1968, here we are. On the 1st of January, 68, First Lieutenant Kyun Hyung Chi, graduate 119, and First Lieutenant Sun Kil Yoon, number 120, SFC Kwangsu Park, 121, were the Korean SF Forces liaison advisors to the Recondo School. Also assigned to as a liaison advisor in 68 and 69 was Peter Cowan of the Australian SAS, and he is actually quite famous because I think he ends up staying in and becomes a leader for the Aussies during the GWAT. So that's pretty damn cool to see their GWAT guys still having influence or still being around guys with Vietnam experience. I mean, that's so cool. Still having stuff like that going on. A lot of SOG guys in here. So of course, you know, and I don't want to overstate it. You know, I don't. And by the way, Tom Hollowell, you can get this from Steve Sherman. Great book, great history, lays out missions, lays out every graduate, complete history, certificates, training, how to load gear, everything. And I don't want to overstate it by saying, you know, they did not cross paths. They clearly did. The guys knew each other. You know, they'd see each other in Saigon. They'd see each other at Longtan. They'd see each other at Recondo School. Or if they were on R&R, you know, they saw each other. And you know, another thing, I've never heard of bad blood amongst SF guys, SAW guys, and the SAS. There's always been, you know, a fun clear them out bar fight here and there, but there was no animosity amongst the guys, you know, like some people would think, like, oh, you know, we want to stay away from the Americans, they're causing too much shit, or, you know, too noisy or whatever. You know, that was not the case. I mean, there was that's one thing I got to say. The Commonwealth, the Brits, the UK, the old empire, they've actually held pretty damn strong to us and supporting us as well. Hell, you got to give it to Korea. The South Koreans, they've done it as well, for as small as they are, to throw their mix into the bunch like they did. You know, I mean, just wild. I had here a little bit on SAS that I was looking at to see. To 6 ARR New Zealand. I found that funny, both the Aussies and the New Zealands, but I'd read somewhere the New Zealands were really wanting to, and Nui Dat, that's another one that people need to remember. The SAS had a hell of a battle at Nui Dat and the hills of Nui Den. You know, I might actually end up having to make it down a video on the Brits, because you can't, when you start looking at that, you can't really underestimate them when you start seeing what they were doing and how early on they were there to help and support us. Let me think. What else was I going to say? We covered 1-0 school. We covered Recondo. And then I had just for shits and giggles, I kind of put out a question. And Dan, you might have seen it in the group page, because the other day I did one about the French Foreign Legion, and strangely enough, a lot of guys knew French Foreign Legion guys during the Vietnam days. In fact, one of the Mike Force guys, was French Foreign Legion before his Mike Force stint, which is crazy. But I asked about, did y'all have contact with SAS? And, you know, everyone that had contact with them loved them. And I think I even added to the postscript, like, you know, did y'all, sorry, I keep getting a message from a SOG vet that's on the road that I'm waiting to talk to. CCS vet, I'm trying to get him to come on too. If y'all can remember it all, anytime they were ever on a FOB, a CNC, or anything like that. And what I got was, other than if a dude was very close friends with somebody on the compound and it was cool and all of that, foreigners weren't really allowed on there. I mean, you can see them not even letting normal Army on, and unless they just weren't commingling as much as people would like to think they were. You know, the SOG guys weren't free all the time to go out partying looking for dudes and to hang out and party with, and neither were the SAS guys with what they were doing. You know, I equate the SAS, you know, they didn't go into Cambodia, they didn't go into Laos. I equate a lot of what they did to what is to what the SEALs were doing, you know. And then that's not down on the SEALs either, but they weren't. And the SEALs did go, a few groups did go into Cambodia, and I've even heard into Laos, but I'll need to verify for that for sure. I know for a fact they went into Cambodia. But it, yeah. Oh, I got that other photo that's pretty cool too, about another guy that traded something for a boonie. But they just weren't around. It just as simple as that. They weren't around. Two different areas, and they were SAS as a whole stuck in 3 Corps, SOGs all over the place. That's just not how the thing was swinging. Now, what was I about to show y'all? Oh, here we go. That's what I was talking about. I have known of guys to meet up with buddies that did R&R. And funny enough, this is Mike Trammell, who was at the same 1-0 course as Al Grace was when he got his boonie. I've been told now that is not an SAS boonie. That is a AATV Army, Australian Army Training Vietnam pin right there, and his boonie. And so you can see the Khartoum guys, it seems like, has yep, Daniel corrected me, as you can see right here. They had a little more contact than is known, but it just wasn't a steady thing. The Mike forces, mobile guerrilla forces, later on FANK, a lot of SAS and American working together. You know what? Let me just see if I can find this. It'll really bum me out if I can't, but I promise I will find the photo and put it up somehow, of John Deasy, Mr. Bill Deasy from SOG, his brother, with the warrant officer in excuse me, the warrant officer in his in the B-36 mobile guerrilla force with him. And I'm seeing if I can find John Deasy at the moment here. Y'all bear with me, because it's a damn good photo. His name his code name was actually Crazy Horse, and it's pretty funny how he got that name. Oh, how lucky are we? This is crazy. We're good, guys. We are damn good today. Check this out. Found Mr. John immediately. Boom. Hope y'all can see that. B-36 Company A, 5th Special Forces Group, Vietnam, 3 Corps at Long High, later became a FANK battalion, FANK training facility, but built in 66, blah, 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 through 69. Originally, the camps for the Mobile Guerrilla Force and 3 Corps Mike Force. In 68, both were combined to make the 3rd Mobile Strike Force Command, Bo Greitz. in 1967, early Nestor Pino commanded 3-Corps Mike Force until he injured his hand with a blasting cap. It blew his hand off, sadly. Bogreitz commanded the guerrilla force after that. And that is Sam Krasnov, SAS captain, not warrant officer, was with Mr. DC right there. And that is John, who retired a colonel. There you go. I'm going to pull that up. There's Daniel with the win showing us the SAS sand colors. So that is one thing if you're looking to learn about yeah, God, he's got great photos that I've saved. If you're looking for guys really getting into it and Australians being around, the Mobile Guerrilla Force and the Mike Force and Fank are gonna be your best bet. I'm gonna keep looking. I got that photo. I love that damn photo. Warzone C. I've got more I'm looking for. I've got some oh, Mr. Terry joining us a little bit late there. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Terry. I've got some other photos of some Aussies with some Americans that I just did not have handy. I had, like, as y'all know, I've got several thousand photos on this phone, and it takes forever to get there on there and find them all. But I'm gonna end up finding them some more, and I'll end up. I'm gonna, now that I've been covering this, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the SAS and the Americans working together, Guerrilla Force and Mike Force. And I'm trying like hell to get Mr. Bucky Burris on. Trying like hell. He's pretty quiet, but I've got some help that someone's trying to help me out get with him. I mean, I'm on a friendly basis with him and message him and get info on the Mike Force and all that, but I'm working on that just vigilantly to add to the other big names of some folks that we're going to have on this year. It'll be some folks that have been on some recent SOG casts. It's going to be Del Dye this year. It's going to be General Beauray this year. It's going to be Gary O'Neill from Blue Light. We're going to have Doc Norton back on, Andy back on. I think I might have gotten in touch with a Tunnel Rat. I've got a secret card of names here full of SOG numbers that we might get lucky on, have some people on that have never spoke before. So, and there are some more chopper pilots that I've got saved in a chopper group that I've been put into, and the man that runs the group is on has given me his number, and he's going to start trying to get us a steady list of pilots to come on, which I would love, because I always love having the aviators on, because as Mr. Terry and all of the vets that watch this attest, without those damn crazy air crew men, we would have lost a lot more of our SOG men that are here talking to us today that probably would not have made it back. So it's just outstanding what they did. So we want to keep getting our coverage on everybody, making sure everybody's getting their due diligence. But we've got, like I said, I haven't mentioned everyone on here, because I've got a few surprises I'd like to surprise y'all with. Mr. Terry, I believe, is going under the knife this month. And if he can Happy New Year, Michelle. If he can let us know when he's going to be, if he'd like to come on before, depending on how bad it is, if he's going to be down and out for a while and doesn't want to sit down and record or what have you while he was recovering, we can have Mr. Terry on before he goes down for his recovery. So we're going to do that. And as I said earlier, I've got some cool surprises. January 22nd, let's do it before. Let me write down now then, Mr. Terry. Terry surgery. Okay. What day is it? Friday the 2nd? Yeah. Okay. I'll get up with you this weekend, Mr. Terry. We'll lay something out for next week, because as far as I know at the moment, other than some phone calls, I don't have anything scheduled, so we can do that. Hell, and maybe Mr. Terry can actually add in on that and tell us if he ever crossed paths with the SAS blokes. But like I told you, I wasn't going to keep you all long today. I've been wanting to get this out, show people that channel that was. By the way, that's my last cigar. I already made my New Year's resolution, so you won't be seeing anymore. I want to show that off to where people would know if you see that and you immediately think like, "Whoa, White and Bud or anybody talking about this," it's not true. So if you listen to it and to laugh at it and have fun or whatever, but everything on that, other than the pictures he's using, has nothing to do with SOG. Utter bullshit. But like I said, we might, since Mr. Terry wants to do it before, we might have Mr. Terry on next week, as well as a Sigma vet, Mr. Kurt Jones. So we could be starting off the new year with 2 awesome shows. So everybody keep your eyes peeled on the upcoming shows. I'll always update y'all on all of the social medias and all of that, so y'all don't miss out. And I just made a note to call Mr. Terry and get with him over the weekend, where we can get something planned out. And what I need y'all to do for homework, I've started thinking about doing specialty shows, because I've got a lot of information on individuals, both missions and stuff like that. And I've started thinking about, I'm going to cover, to start off, because CCS doesn't get a lot of coverage, and I'm working on fixing that this year. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking to one of the men in that photo to come on. And I'm going to be doing shows literally talking about a team or this individual's mission, and talking a little bit about him. I thought about covering interesting missions that aren't covered all the time. You know, Mr. Bob's are well known. I thought about maybe talking about some of the lesser known ones that I've spoken to guys on phones about that maybe aren't in the books. If y'all want me to do, I've been also thinking about doing a Jerry Shriver show. I don't know if y'all would be interested in that. I'd like to do one. There's a lot of, again, with him, a lot of horse shit out there by people who didn't know him, didn't meet him. If they ever saw him in their life, it was him walking somewhere or leaving somewhere. They sure as hell didn't meet him, because you could count his friends he had in Vietnam on probably 2 hands and maybe a foot tops, maybe 1 hand tops. So I thought about doing that and clearing up some of the craziness out there on him, and also kind of going in depth. There's some stuff I learned about Jerry that I hope, if anybody else has learned this by speaking to some of the men that were in Germany with him and Bammy Tui with him, he was a very troubled man. He, even before the military, you know, I'm not going to go into it right now. We'll do that for the show, but he was very troubled, very, very troubled. And there's some things in Jerry's story that do not ever need to be spoken publicly, whether it's on an interview, whether it's me talking, and quite frankly, if it's another vet. I was told by the man that I've gotten some of the numerous troubling stories from, that I don't know why he trusted with. I guess I'm trustworthy. That's a good thing. I shouldn't say I don't know why he trusted me with it, because I've never told anybody it. But he told me some stuff, and if that got out, that would it would not make Jerry look very good in several aspects. So there's some things I've learned just in my short amount of time I'll never share. And I hate that because it almost makes me a gatekeeper. But just for the legacy of some of these guys, and you don't build people up to be unbreakable heroes, but Jerry sacrificed a lot for this country. He sacrificed himself and potential life with his family, and I just don't think I don't think these need to come out. I'll leave it at that. I won't ever share them. I hope anybody that ever hears them or if they know about them, I know one other person knows about them. He's done good, and I actually said, please don't ever mention that on a podcast for views. So I'll get into some that aren't in this realm of thinking that are bad to kind of show you what he was going through. But hell of a story, hell of a man, great man, was just troubled very early on, and then what he went through in the war, he would have never made it back. I fully believe that, but we'll save that for a Jerry show. That's going to be a good show. I got a lot I'd like to say about Jerry and about the people that are trying to I don't know if they're wanting to make a movie and make him into a character or what have you, but I got a lot of stuff I can say about Jerry. Good. I love him, respect the hell out of him. He's a fellow Southern boy right down the road from me. But he's a fault. He has faults like us all, and his legacy needs to remain pure, and it won't be coming out. Some stories should never. Yeah. And your dad, I can only imagine with him on the lone survivor mission. I'm surprised he ever spoke about that. There's absolutely stories that I will never share ever. And you're absolutely right, Michelle. They just do not need to see. And it's not because it's going to make the person who told the story look bad or make the organization look bad. It's just these guys in Vietnam, in SOG, in Force Recon, and in the Mike Force and MGF for an extent, but mainly SOG, were tasked to do things in operations that would have never and will never be done again. The dangerous level, the brutality, the loss of life, the constant, this is my last day waking up, what should I do? They were asked to do the impossible, and it's a wonder the guys have come out so well as they have. PTSD is a thing. Some guys, I believe all of the guys have it. Some guys have it worse than others. But the SAW guys have a disposition that I've not seen in another group, to be honest. Not even when talking to, the closest you can compare it to, if you've ever spoken to a modern era Delta Force vet or a SEAL Team 6 vet, they have a way of compartmentalizing things that would crush the soul, mind, body, and spirit of another man and a regular soldier. Asking 18 to 25-year-old young men to go out fresh out of training into Laos, 50, 60 miles away from anything remotely nearing something you could count as friendly. The technology with the radio, I mean, this is stuff, you know, and we get all, and that's the thing about the fanboy stuff with the vet bros today of Delta and all the SEAL guys, you know, and everything. And yeah, God, they do crazy stuff. You know, they come in on the little birds and they're on target, and silent suppressors, and almost messed up on that one. Suppressors, and you know, they've only got 5 mags because they're quick. They're in. They're snipers, and I'd venture, and this will get me in trouble, but I would venture to say, if you took those boys in their prime right now, versus Mr. Terry, Mr. John Holland, Mr. Glasshauser, Mr. Joe Morris, rest in peace, Mr. Sonnenberg, Ken Bowray, Eldon Bargewell. I don't think they could do it. I honestly, that's going to get me in trouble. So be it. You know, they're studs. They are. But I think that the SOG men, and that's another thing other than just the badassness that they did stuff with and what all they accomplished. The fact they accomplished what they did with what they had, both technology-wise, manpower-wise, and gear-wise, is something that can't be done. I mean, now you can, you know, insert a SEAL or a Delta team, and you've got Reapers, you've got a satellite watching, you've got full-time active communication back to Washington, night vision goggles, blah, 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 blah. And these guys were that's why I said any guy that crossed the fence one time and was on the ground one time deserved a Bronze Star with valor. My opinion, I know a lot of vets won't like that, but if you had the balls to do it and go mix it up like that, you're a different breed of man. They are not the SOG men are not the same breed as me and other normal men. A lot of stories, metal write-ups, and AR do not accurately reflect. No, I've unfortunately learned that from you that yeah, like you said, and unfortunately, with one of the gentlemen they were posted about a day or two ago, one of Mr. Terry's leaders, the way he passed was like that. It's just crazy. SF has too much technology today. They couldn't do it in 68. All with you on that one. But yeah, it's just completely different. And I think I'm going to write that one down too. The difference of MACV-SOG versus today's Tier 1. I think that would be a really interesting show to talk about why and how and all of that, because I seriously don't. I respect the hell out of the Delta guys, Chili Palmer, Brad Thomas, who we've had on. Well, Mike Vining was in Vietnam. I think he could have done it. If he would have been a little younger or a little older, he might have could have tried SOG. But yeah, we're in a totally different world today, man. And it worries me with the drones. The drone thing is beginning to. Oh, it's been bothering me, but this has changed warfare to where it's not going to be. Hey, girl. It's going to be completely different. But I went off on a wild tangent, like I said I wasn't going to do. But everybody keep a lookout on the upcoming interviews. I'm going to get with Mr. Terry. We're going to set up for next week. I hope either next week we will be going with Mr. Kurt, or we'll be setting one for the prior week, because he's ready. I've got all my information ready for him, and we'll have him, a few LERPs, Mr. Terry, and a few SOG helicopter pilots to start the month off with, as well as some force recon. So we're going to have a good mixy match. Say hello and get down. We're going to do a good whirlwind and cover a lot of stuff. And then I'd really like to, I'm leaning in here with a group of LERPs. I've gotten in touch with 2 different LERP like SOAR, but their reunion organization, and I've gotten a list of names of men that I need to reach out to. So fingers crossed that we might be doing pretty good on helicopter pilots, maybe a CCS contacts coming up, and some LERPs. So everyone, I hope y'all had a safe New Year's. It was great. I think we're gonna have a good year, and I'm looking forward to what all we can get onto. Please send me messages on what y'all would like me to cover, a specialty show, even if it's not SOG, SF, anybody in SF or any topic. Hell, I'm open to talk about any topic to learn about. And if you'd like to come on and talk about it, come on. I'm hoping this year some of the viewers will like to come on and talk to me this year. I love having my vets on, but here soon we're gonna have to start having some of you guys step up and start sharing some stories and helping out the community here and coming on and talking to me a little bit here. Dan, you're always welcome. Michelle, you're always welcome as well. I've been wanting to do the children of a SOG vet for a while now. Mr. Tony Love, his daughter, she was thinking about doing one, and having y'all 2 on would be pretty damn interesting. I need to get with you. I don't need to keep talking to you through this. I apologize. But everyone be safe. Have fun. I will update y'all if we have anything going on. And I'm trying to figure out now. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Next week, we're going to have 2 shows. That's awesome. I'm glad that just came through. Everyone be good. Have a wonderful weekend and be safe. And tell you the truth, I may surprise y'all tomorrow or Sunday, and we may do a secret members only watch along party to one of these new LERP Recondo documentaries I've been sent. So if you're not a member, go ahead and become a member. I think you can join for free. You can also support me by doing a membership perk package to get some interviews that I've not put up publicly, some phone interviews. So help out if you can. If you can't, just keep watching and enjoying all you can. Be good. We'll see y'all later. I got to walk this dog. She's licking my hand off the bone. So be good. See y'all later.